Right, well, I'll make a start, everyone. Thank you for everyone who registered for this session today on Assistive Technology, or AT, as some of us call it. I'll start by just welcome to country, if that's okay. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. So thanks for that. Now, assistive technology, I might start by what it is. I'm sure everyone knows what it is, but I thought I might read a bit of a description of what it is. So, assistive technology is a term for assistive, adaptive, and rehabilitative devices for people with disabilities and the elderly. People with disabilities often have difficulty performing activities on a daily basis, living independently or even with assistance, and that's where AT comes into play. And now I'll start with introduction of the panelists. In 30 seconds, we'll pretty much just say who we are and why we're here, what our disability is. I'm gonna make a start and I'll go clockwise with the people I see on the screen. My name's Naz from AQA Victoria. I had a diving accident many years ago, and they broke my neck, C6 quadriplegic, and yeah, that's pretty much it from me. And we'll learn more about me as the session goes by. So next, I might go over to Mark and Amy, our specialised ATs from AQA. Over to you, Mark and Amy.
Thanks, Naz. Hi, my name's Mark. I'm a paraplegic after a motorbike accident. I am also an OT here at AQA, so I've come to AQA to share both my lived experience and OT lens to help our community. With me today is Amy, our new grad OT.
Yeah, I'm Amy, and I've been engaged with AQA as a wheelchair skills buddy, and have just come on board as the new graduate occupational therapist.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark and Amy. Susana, we'll go over to you next.
Hi, I'm Susana, and I've acquired my injury in 95. I had a car accident. I'm a T2 para complete, and I get around in a manual chair as well as a power chair.
Excellent. Thank you, Susana. Lachie, over to you.
Yep. I'm Lachie O'Brien, and I also work at AQA, involved with Georgina doing the community networks. I broke my neck in a rugby accident 13 years ago, which left me as a T2 paraplegic. And I've been volunteering with AQA since about 2015.
Thank you, Lachie. Geoff, we'll go over to you if you're ready to go.
Yeah, sorry, late start for me. I'm Geoff Dossetor. I've been quadriplegic C4-5 since 2001, so 22 years. My daughter was 7 weeks old when I had the accident. She's now 22, so and traveling the world. So I had a hang gliding accident and used to fly hang gliders for a living. Can't do that anymore. So I took up mouth painting. So you can probably see an easel in the background. And I've been volunteering since about 2008, I think. No,
one of our mentors, Geoff, correct?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Geoff. Josh, over to you.
G'day, yep. So Josh Hose, peer support and volunteer coordinator here at AQA with 18 years lived experience. So for those playing at home, that means I had my injury in 2005 and I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. Naz.
Thank you, Josh. And Georgina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Georgina Fiorentino. I am a T7 paraplegic caused by a blood clot to the spine about 20 years ago now. I also work at AQA alongside Lachie as Community Engagement and Networks Coordinator. Thank you, Naz.
Excellent. Thank you, Georgina. Great work. We've got Alex, who's supposed to be joining us as well. He's probably running a little bit late, but it's going to be good to get him on board as well. I might just go around and open a question with, to everyone here, what does assistive technology mean to them? When we talk about assistive technology, I think we're mainly referring to stuff around our environment, how it makes life easier and makes us more independent, I guess, in whatever areas that is. So that's just our own personal setups. A lot of technology is changing over the years, and hopefully a lot of people out there will learn what's out there that they're not aware of. That's going to make their life so much easier around their homes and in their community as well. Okay, so I guess we'll touch on that as we go, because there's a lot of things that are going to come up. So I've got a few photos and videos I'm going to show throughout this presentation. And as mentioned, I think everyone's aware that the presentation's going to go for just over an hour, and we're going to have lots of Q&A as well. If people out there have got any questions in the meantime, please type it out. Type it into the chat or the Q&A. You should be able to see the icon on your screen near the bottom there, and we'll answer them as we progress. And you're able to put your hand up as well, I think. Yeah, so please feel free to ask any questions you like. So I might start off with, got a video. Well, actually, no, I got some photos from Geoff. So Geoff just introduced himself, so it was good to hear from him. And he's got some really good equipment or setup in his home. So if I share my screen there, Geoff, are you happy to just talk us through some of these pictures that we've got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a sec while I just do this. So everyone should be able to see my screen now.
Okay, there's my dusty clock. That little red light at the top shoots a laser. You can point it at the roof or the wall, and it tells you what the time is. So because I don't move at night, I just shine the clock up on the ceiling, and it that way I can tell what time it is. Saves me having to ask Siri.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic, Geoff. I've actually never seen one of these, but it's great that you can project this to any position in your room that you want.
I think they're made in Melbourne somewhere too.
Oh, excellent. Even better. And we'll go over to the next picture here.
Okay, actually, it's a water bottle, and it's got a big, long, flexible straw, which you can see I put it in the end of my bed, and the straw is just angled where I can get to it. And I'll just draw it. You can see I've run into my bed a few times. It's got tape all over it. There's a hoist that I use for getting in and out of bed, and the bed raises and lowers and does all sorts of things. It's getting pretty old now. I think it's about 20-something years old, but still going. Next photo there, nice. I've got a smart TV that I bought a year or two ago, and I can use the Google, whatever it's called, the Google Hub, I think it's called, that thing, and just ask it to turn the TV on or turn the radio on, play some music.
Geoff, can I just quickly ask, that that bed you have there, that hoist is actually connected to it?
No, it's on wheels.
Oh, so that's separate. Okay, yep.
Yeah, it's just parked out of the way.
Yep.
There during the day. Yep. So
no, that's great, Geoff. I know there's different versions of there's Google Home, I think there's Google Nest, and they all work around voice recognition, so you actually speak to it. I'm sure a lot of people know about this already, what I'm talking about, but you can use it to actually activate your TV like Geoff is doing. A lot of people also use it. Actually, I might just talk about this minimally. So Mark, I think Mark knows more about this than I do, but you can activate, your lights on and off and your curtains and a whole bunch of other things as well. So this is really great technology. Google is one version, but there's also other companies that do it. Alexa, I think, is another one, and there might be another couple more.
Yeah, there's Google, Amazon, with which Amazon is Alexa, and Apple are the main ones that I'm aware of and have experience with.
I'd love to hear if people use this as well, because I actually purchased one about a year ago and I love it. I'm not making all the benefits of it, but for what it does for me, it's fantastic, and I know I can do so much more with it. Thanks, Mark. And yeah, I reckon we'll go back to that a little bit later as well. Geoff, this is another feature you've got in your house there?
Yeah, I had the apartment built off plan. So I told them what I wanted: wider doors, larger light switches, and that black switch on the left, that's for opening an automatic door that I have to get in and out of the apartment. And the large light switches, I just click it with my elbow. Works well.
Yeah, nice having those buttons instead of like a tiny switch.
I've got a remote to open the automatic door on my wheelchair as well. Which,
oh, excellent. And I think we've got a photo of that too, Geoff. I'll just share that.
That's the automatic door opener.
Mm.
I've got that through Assistive Technology, I think. Oh no, what's it called? I'll think of the name of the company.
Yeah, but you can sort of see how good this works. You've just got the button in beside the wall, and you can let yourself in or out, because me, just like everyone else here, knows how easy it is to open a door, but to close a door or vice versa, it's a bit of a struggle, depending on if you're opening or closing the door. I can see some questions coming through, so we'll get on to them as they come through as well. And please ask away, guys, if you've got any questions. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got a little video of Georgina in her home. So Georgina's got a fantastic setup in her home around the kitchen. Not only the kitchen too, I mean, her bathroom is really good, and her laundry, which she'll talk about a little bit more. But I think it's worthwhile showing this video about what features she's got in her kitchen. I'm going to mute the sound, Georgina, but if you want to speak to the video as we're watching it, that'll be great. So should be able to see it now.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So just sharing the video now, Georgina.
So this kitchen was done about 20 years ago. We had a good cabinet maker. As you can see, we've lowered the benches there. There's gaps so I can go under, or spaces so I can go under. The sink as well, that's at the standard level, but I'm still able to reach inside and reach the taps. You can see all there, there's the cooktop, and also the range hood is lowered so I can reach the buttons. This is the pantry that pulls out, which is really easy for me to grab things. You can see the handles in all the drawers and cupboards are really large and easy to grab. So the next thing is the oven, which pulls out and then tucks in underneath, which allows you more space to take things out of the oven. Also, the bench is nearby if you want to put things there. The toaster's in the way at the moment, but you could either put it in the bench behind me, or if it's light, I could easily take it to the cooktop over there. The next thing is that the dishwasher, you could see that it's close by to the sink as well, and I can easily use it on its side sort of position. This was a video taken for another webinar we did on cooking. So it's just showing me put the rice in the microwave. The microwave is lowered, but in hindsight, maybe having it up on the bench would have been okay as well. So the bench space is there, so I can easily put things after they've finished warming up in the oven. What else can I say? That's me just preparing a salad. Usually use that space for cutting vegetables or preparing food or making teas and coffee. That's me with a lemon squeezer thingy, which I find quite useful. My hands are getting a bit old and a bit arthritic, so I find that quite useful. So that's a little video of my kitchen. So I've mentioned all those different things that you should take note of, which is the lowering of the bench. But there's also things like air fryers and slow cookers, which are good appliances that are easy to use and safe to use. With that cooktop, I would have, people probably think that's a bit too high. It is a little bit too high for me, but for those that really like to cook and enjoy cooking, you could have that lowered to a better height. Critiquing my kitchen after 20 years, there's things that could have been improved apart from the lowering of the cooktop. There are cupboards up the top which I cannot reach, so they could have been lowered, and you could also have pull down shelves. So that's like a new thing that newer kitchens can have. Increasing the storage space for the pantry. They were just too narrow, like pull out shelves. And also there's a corner cupboard, which is a bit pokey to get things out of. So generally, the kitchen's quite important. It's the most important and most used room in the house. It's where people congregate. It's my little hub where I read as well and have my cups of tea and watch television. So you can still have a nice kitchen and still make it as adaptive as possible. And so people can use, or I can use quite independently. That's it, Naz.
No, that's fantastic, Georgina. That oven, I think, really stands out to me because, a lot of people that would enjoy cooking, of course, it's really hot, and people are afraid of getting burnt. So that's great to know you can get as close as possible to the oven itself without having to reach over and losing your balance and all that sort of stuff. I love how you got spaces where you need underneath the benches. Just going to stop sharing my screen and just ask you, Georgina, there's a couple of other videos I've got. I might show them later, but in your laundry, might ask you what you've done with your laundry and talked about how you can't reach up into your cupboards in the kitchen, but I think in is it your bathroom, you've got like some storage where you pull it down and pretty much bring what you need to yourself.
It's in regards to the laundry, more so, not necessarily something with pulling down from the shelves. It's more in the laundry, I have the washing machine and the dryer propped up higher, so I'm not bending down, and the washing machine is a front loader, so it's easy to grab clothes in and out. And underneath those are two drawers where I put all the dirty clothes in, my clothes and my husband's dirty clothes. Here we go. So they're the two drawers underneath both the dryer and the washing machine, and the middle cupboard is where I put all the washing detergents and powder. there's also a bench to the right as well where you could, there's a sink and that you could fold your clothes there. But I also have, it's not shown in this video, there is a wall-mounted ironing board. So it's not something that I have to physically lift from the floor or take out from a cupboard. So that's really handy. And my bathroom is quite large. It was the old kitchen, so this ensuite is quite big. And I don't know if you're going to play that, Naz. Yes,
Yeah, look,
you
I
are.
might quickly let people have a look at it, but
So this is the shower with the shower bench with all the rails and handrails, and then I've got a plinth there. That's where I get dressed. I find it easier to get dressed in a plinth, which is padded. And there's a bar there near the wall where I used to grab to turn left to right as I pull my jeans up. Again, space underneath the large sink. Similar drawers, and these long cupboards have all my supplies from Independent Solutions. And there's my toilet and my my rail there. So that's my bathroom.
no, excellent, Georgina. I might quickly just show this. I don't think it's that long, but yeah, you can sort of see if you plan ahead. You know, you can modify whatever you need to suit yourself, but it's good for people out there that really don't know what's going to work for them to ask questions and look at these videos to see what options there are, so they can have a think about what works or what might be possible for them or not. Excellent, thank you, Georgina. There's a few questions coming through. I might ask this to Mark. Someone asked Mark, can I learn to hoist myself into bed so I don't have to rely on or wait for carers?
Thanks, Naz. It's certainly possible to explore that kind of option. There are hoists with some independent solutions. And Naz, as you're aware, there's one called an independent lifter, which we have here at the office.
Exactly.
And there's also one called a handy move with a body support. Basically, what these are they're suitable for a ceiling hoist system. And basically, I think it's better to see the images. But it's basically a metal sling with hooks. So you put your legs into the hooks, and pardon me, the sling itself sort of hugs some of your body. And then you can operate a ceiling hoist system in an XY axis. So there's certainly a solution out there, but then just also determining how suitable it is for your level of function and your home environment.
Excellent, thanks, Mark. And yeah, just wanted to highlight that we've got a version of that. So it's a hoist where it's remote control, and people can come into the office and have a look. I've tried it myself, and it is very possible to hoist yourself independently. So if anyone wants to know more about that, give us a call, send us an email, and yeah, we'll get you to come into the office and have a look at that and what else we've got around. Another person asked a question: what considerations are there for making a kitchen usable for accessibility and an able-bodied person? I guess we had a look at Georgina's setup. I know Josh and Susana, you've thought about this before. I'm not sure if you've got anything you want to mention that we haven't seen already. Even Lachie, I'm not sure if Lachie's got something that helps.
That's what I was going to refer to, Naz. Lachie is the chef amongst us. It'd be interesting to hear his adaptations, I guess, for the kitchen. With mine, the kitchen, I've just got like a table that I can roll under, but that's sort of, I guess, similar to what would be in a inverted brackets, you know, just like a normal kitchen. But yeah, Lachie, have you changed any of your sort of setup at home?
Yeah, just to add more, and I think I'll probably end up bouncing back to Susana here, that something I've thought about as well, like having a partner one day and just people that want to access the kitchen and make it easy. You can put actuators on the bench so it can go up and down, which makes it more suitable. But then when you do that, you might lose a lot of bench space underneath. So you can actually bring benches, a lot of the shelving and everything up the top, and then use the there's a system, I think Mark will probably explain a bit more. We can literally press buttons and pull it down, a lot of stuff, so it saves spatial wise and that. Bring the oven up onto the bench makes it a bit easier depending on how you like it. So there's so many options. And I think it's important to notice as well that it doesn't always have to be a directly accessibly paid setup. There's other options you can do that are safe and smart as well.
Great, thanks, Lachie. Not sure, Susana, if you've got anything you want to add to that?
Sorry. Yes, so I have a new kitchen that was made about 5 years ago, and they put in a up and down bench for my cooking, and I can access that at any level, and able bodies can use it as well, so they can bring it up at nice and high, or they can, if I need to use it, I can lower the bench, as well as it includes my sink, and the sink, the level of the sink and the bench and the stove go up and down.
Excellent. I think that's really handy.
Yeah, very handy.
Yeah, I knew you could do it with benches, but it's great to hear that you can actually do it with your sink as well. You know, I thought a sink would be harder because you've got a lot of plumbing attached to it, but I guess they've worked it out. Geoff, there was a couple of other photos that you sent me I didn't share, and this reminded me of that. So I might just share these couple of photos with the other people too, and I might get you to talk about your I don't know if I call it a hobby, but your painting, because you're a pretty skilled painter. So I might share my screen, and you can speak to that as well. And the reason I bring this up now is because I think the table you've got is height adjustable. So depending on what you're doing, you might want to take it up or down as you please.
Yeah, well, it used to be height adjustable. It's broken now. So, I think you get what you pay for. I've probably just got a cheap one. I've got all my brushes just lined up along the edge, and I just sort of drive the wheelchair and lean forwards and grab a brush in my mouth and get my carers to squeeze the paint onto the palette and mix it in the lids in front.
It's fantastic.
Medium, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Geoff, to interrupt, but I was just going to say you can probably see the controls of the table there on the left-hand side, and we can see some of your great work there too, Geoff.
There's one in progress at the moment. It's not very great at the moment.
Okay. That's what you say, but that's what a lot of people say. But yeah, I think people, we might have have a session one day where we show some of the work that you've done. I'm going to move on to this one too, Geoff.
Yeah, I've got two computers. One's a Mac, one's a PC. So I've got two different trackball mouses or mice. And I've been using these for years. As you can see, they're pretty worn out. We need to get something new, but they've been really good, these mice. You've got 4 different buttons. You can program to do different things. So left click, right click, click and drag. And
I think that's really great for people to know that there's options to control a computer. You don't have to use a normal mice or mouse. There's different types of them, and also these trackballs as well. So it's pretty much like an upside down mouse, isn't it? You've got the roller on top instead of underneath.
Yeah, and I use Dragon, naturally speaking, for my PC, and there used to be a Dragon for Mac, which still is on my Mac. It's a pretty old Mac. Now Apple's got their own voice recognition, which is pretty much a copy of the Dragon, and yeah, it's new commands, so I haven't bothered getting a new Mac. There's a telephone there with the larger buttons, and I just press the speaker and I can dial up things or set them into the memory, and that's just a microphone that I've got.
That's great. So Dragon Dictate, I guess there's probably other software out there that people use, but yeah, it's fantastic. Instead of having to type on a keyboard, you can do all the commands by voice recognition. All right, thank you, Geoff, for that. I think that was it with the photos I got from you. I don't know if there's anyone else that has tried voice recognition.
I've been using Dragon since since probably 2001, and it's improved a lot over that time. I used to swear at it a lot in the early days, but not so much these days. Pretty cooperative.
What do you use it for, Geoff?
Typing emails, doing Word documents or Excel spreadsheets. You can use it for other things. I just use it for the basic things, really.
Excellent. Thank you, Geoff. I'm just having a look at the other questions that are coming through. There's one that's come through. It's actually a comment more than a question. So this person says, I've seen in a motel room a shower with a lever attached to the handheld shower that he's able to lower the shower head from whatever the position is where he can reach it. So the lever actually lowers the shower head, which is really good. And another comment too by David, in my bathroom, I have a roll out wire baskets in the cupboard where I store lots of stuff. The advantage is you can see what's in it from a sitting down position.
I might actually add to that as well. In my pantry, my sister-in-law came up with it. I don't know if everyone knows what a lazy Susan is. So if you've been a yum chow, you get dumplings. There's a round sort of tabletop item that can actually spin around, right? So you put dumplings on and you spin around. So I actually put that in my pantry. So instead of having to reach in there and lean forward and sort of exhaust my shoulders, I can just spin around and grab the sauces on there. So I have that easily available for me as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Josh, might go over to you now. I know I've got a couple of photos I want to share. Did you want me to share them now, or did you want to speak?
You can probably share them if you want.
Yeah.
But I think, when we're going through this, Naz, and, there's a massive amount of assistive technology, and it's highly individual. And, I just want to highlight, it's probably one of the key takeaways, especially for people early on. You're not necessarily, know what's out there, and there's a plethora of things. So I definitely encourage you to speak with the OTs, or, selfless plug, reach out to AQA, because we have a lot of lived experience with our OTs. So in this photo here, Naz, I guess the assistive tech, which is, a little bit, I guess, simple in its way, but on the left of the photo is my track chair. So, sometimes, getting to the track might be hard. You probably leave it on the, yeah, that's it. So the assistive tech is the dyno, so what it goes on. So I was able to get my dad to make this. So the dyno itself is the barrel, and so that weighs about 50 kilos. So, if you want to exercise, you can do it on the back deck and get the job done. And I guess, from the other point, that's a track chair for people that don't know. So if you want to go out and exercise on an athletics track, I know Lachie's use these on the road, marathon, that's an option as well. And then if you go to the other photo, Naz, so on the right, there's the ski erg. So this one I found when I go to the gym, they're a little bit hard because they're quite narrow at the bottom. So on this one, I got my father to widen the support railing that's down the bottom so I can roll up. And then, Naz, you'll love this. The ingenious part, down the bottom, there's a G-clamp. So when I'm sitting in my chair and I do the rows, I've found the front chair lifts up a lot. So with the G-clamp, I roll up to it, and then I screw that down on top of my foot plate, put my brakes on, and it gives me a much more, what's the word I'm looking for, stable positioning. And then I can go on there and do whatever exercise amount of Ks I'd like to do. And, you know, just a key takeaway for people at home, you know, while there's a lot of assistive technology, some of it, you know, don't be afraid to get a little bit inventive, and you can modify certain things.
I think that's a great comment, Josh, because I think lots of people have got ideas in their mind, what will work, what won't, because you can't buy it off the shelf. People don't even follow it up. But just want to mention, just like your dad modified this equipment, there's organisations out there like Tadvic, I should say, that actually, they've got volunteers who design and build equipment for you that's not in the mainstream. And all you got to do is pay for the, they're non-profit, so you just got to pay for the material. And they're like a bunch of builders and engineers and all that sort of stuff. So I've seen them do a lot of great work, just solving problems, whatever that may be. So if you've got a problem and you don't know if it's an option to get something built or modified, either speak to them or we can put you in contact as well if you don't have their details.
Did I have another photo there, or are we going to touch on that later on?
Actually, yeah, I forgot about that. So thanks for the reminder. So this is a good one. I think people, this is a great story. People,
and I guess if I can do a bit of a prelude to it, Naz, it's interesting because, you know, as people may know, I use a manual chair, and early on, a bit of my own stubbornness, I was a little bit resistant to getting the power assist, and it was probably 10 years that I was sort of, I was just pushing around, and then when I entertained the thought of the power assist, this opened up an absolute, you know, massive amount of opportunity. So especially when I'm traveling overseas, my latest venture, Naz, over to Italy, I used this bad boy, and within a month, I clocked up 200 Ks, just under. So there's no way I would have pushed that. And then also it helps me to get across the cobblestones, especially when you go out and you're out all day. You know, you're a bit more susceptible to the heat and all these different things. Well, I know I am. And having this just gave me so much more opportunity to go venturing. And then also, you know, when I'm there with my partner, she doesn't have to, you know, assist as much. So if anything else, I think she was struggling to keep up.
Yeah. So,
sorry, like I said that, but
yeah. So I just zoomed in a little bit. So if people can't, are new to this equipment, just describe what it is, Josh. So I can see it attaches to, you've got a manual chair there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So there's heaps, there's heaps of different versions of this. And after I finish speaking, I might throw to Mark and Amy to speak about maybe some of the other ones. But this one's the Baytech. And so there's like a single like beam that goes in between my legs, and that docks into the axle, and then I push it up and it clicks in a manner to say, and it's got the lithium battery on there. So this one in particular is really good for travel, because when you're traveling, sometimes the battery sizes can be a bit of an issue. So I went with the smaller version, and there's another two versions of this Baytech that are bigger and more powerful. But this is perfect for me. It clocks up to about 20 kilometers, but I never really go that fast. All I'm doing is, you know, around that 5 to 6K mark. So yeah, it works really great. And on the gooseneck there, it also folds down. So if you were wanting to put it in the back of your car, or, you know, when you are traveling, it's pretty convenient. But Mark, I know there's a lot of other varieties out there. So question without notice, do you mind speaking to maybe some of the other adaptions that are out there, such as the SmartDrive as well, I believe?
Yeah, no worries. It's when it comes to some of this para-assist, you need to understand what your goal is around it. So there's front power assist, there's rear power assist, there's power assist that can be inside of the wheels. So bring it all back to your level of function and what your usual terrain is going to be is what might dictate the way that you go down in terms of power assist. And personally, similarly to you, Josh, I'm a fan of the front power assist. That's the Baytech. And the reason why I'm a big fan of the Baytech is because it has a single mount. So it's one single attachment point. If you have the mount on your chair, you clip it on and you're ready to go. However, depending on what chair you have will also dictate what kind of power assist can allow for it. What I've recently experienced is that fitting front power assist to a folding frame has been a little bit difficult. So I've had to explore other options and other ways that the device can be mounted to the frame. But yeah, I think that's what I can share in summary. Does anyone have any specific questions about either the front, rear, or other power assists?
Someone actually asked, so this is for either Mark or Josh. They said Bartek are the best. I walk the dog and we leave my husband behind. How do you go with putting it on a plane, Josh? Because that's a concern as well, because it's actually battery operated. Some planes won't allow certain products onto a plane.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I touched on earlier. There's two different battery types. So it's got to be under 300 something. So under 300 cells or lithium along those lines. So having that when I'm traveling, I take my Baytech to the boarding gate. So it's all attached and I tag both. And then, as I mentioned, get to the boarding gate. That's when I detach from my chair. I transfer into the aisle chair and then I take the battery with me on board. And sometimes when you're checking in, some of the staff, might get a little bit worried, but as long as you have the certificate with you and you say, it's under the requirements, I've found no issue at this point when I'm traveling with it.
Yeah, that's great advice, Josh, because you don't want to just turn up assuming that you can travel with it. You need to know that certain products, especially around batteries, you need certification. So they just got to eyeball it and pretty much see that it suits their regulations, either wet type or dry type. Yeah.
Just on these power assist, Naz, I know you've trialed the smooth or no, rather the SmartDrive. How have you found that to use and get around?
Look, I loved it. I haven't used the Bartek, and we're calling it a Bartek, but there's other versions of it again. The SmartDrive was fantastic. You just gotta practice in it. Do your apprenticeship, I guess, and know how it works. But look, getting around in a wheelchair, long term, our shoulders do suffer. So whatever we can bring into our lives, that's going to make life easier, like manage our shoulders. We've got to use it. But the SmartDrive is actually fantastic. And why is because, long distance, you don't have to strain your shoulders. You don't have to jump in a car all the time, to go a couple of Ks, because distance is not a problem. You just got to make sure how it works and if it's going to be good for you. And the good thing is it's detachable, and someone can lift it and put it away, either into a boot. You can put it on or off whenever you want, just like the scooter type ones. Someone asked, well, who are the suppliers for the Bartek? Again, there's lots of suppliers. I don't know if we can mention them here, but there's heaps. Mark, this might be a question for you about who supplies all these power add-ons. And Bartek isn't just one, there's lots of solutions.
Yeah, there's lots of solutions. It really, like, at the end of the day, it all depends. But there are all kinds of suppliers around. I guess if you, we've got Linds, we've got Mobility Plus, we have Melrose wheelchairs, there's Adacare, there's, almost everyone will have something in terms of power assist. And I guess this also comes down to if you ever have the opportunity to go to ATSA, the Assistive Technology Suppliers Australia exhibition that's on every second year in Melbourne, it's a good opportunity to see all the suppliers and the variety of power assist available all in one place.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask Susana and Georgina, use of child power assisted devices, because even if you don't feel like you need one, you might be like a para who's strong as and all that sort of stuff, but there does come a time where you actually need to have a look at these things and put them into play.
Yes, Naz, I actually do have a SmartDrive, but I wanted to add that I also use a freewheel and I attach it to my foot plate. I find that really handy, so I'm not really worried about unexpected little lips on the road or footpaths, which can be quite tricky. So I did use it last year when I went to Tasmania, and at that particular time I had the beginnings of osteoarthritis, so I couldn't be using my hands to push like I would normally push the chair, and the power assist was so helpful because Tasmania can be quite hilly, so I didn't have to rely on anyone pushing me. I could, as you said, you need a bit of go through like an apprenticeship for it. Oh, there's the freewheel attachment. So I think that the combination of the freewheel and the power assist, the SmartDrive, is a really good thing. It lifts off the casters off the ground, so and goes over different types of terrain as well. But as someone's already mentioned, this means there's 2 attachments as opposed to 1 attachment like the Baytech, which is really quick to mount. So it's up to you. Again, price could be a factor, but also the SmartDrive can be quite heavy to mount yourself. You probably would need someone to attach it. So that's one drawback, but once it's on, it's a really good piece of equipment.
Excellent, Georgina. What about you, Susana? Have you tried one? Just anything to add there?
I have a power chair, and I go around in the back of my vehicle, and I drive from my power chair as well.
Well, we're actually going to show your car off,
Yep.
Susana, so that's going to be really good for people to see.
Naz, if I could ask, it might be interesting if we get Mark and Amy, if they could just maybe talk through the process. So if someone hasn't done this before, I imagine NDIS TAC will fund this, but for those wanting to know at home, that there's a bit of a process where you'd need to consult an OT, I imagine. Mark?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that'll be good. And after that, I just want to, Dennis has put his hand up. Dennis, if you can hear me, after this, I'm just going to call you in, so you can, I think you've got a question that you want to ask by voice. So sorry, Mark, over to you.
Yeah, so the first thing with NDIS when applying for any assistive technology is determining if it's reasonable and necessary, and that it's relevant to your disability. So we also look at your goals and see how getting that assistive technology will help you achieve your goals. And a few other things we look at is how it will increase your social participation. And also we'll look at a few different options of a similar item to see what's the most valuable for money that's going to help you achieve your goals.
Yeah, so I guess in summary, there's 5 areas there in terms of the NDIS reasonable and necessary criteria. So just as Amy was saying, recognize disability, your goals, how it increases your social economic participation, value for money, and effective and beneficial. And then in the background, we as OTs will do that kind of navigating with our clinical reasoning and linking your function to the right device that you've chosen. It may require certain trials. But I guess from there to start it off, I guess it just starts off with an assessment and understanding what your goal is, what the main terrain you want to tackle, and where your functional impairment is in relation to all of that. So we'll help you refine where that needs to go and how to direct that.
And then the fun part is trialing all the different options out there and what's going to suit your needs best.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, excellent for that. I'm not sure if people, I had a bit of a cough before and I thought I'd mute myself. Some people might have heard me. So apologies for that. Dennis, if you're there, I'm just going to get you to come online and just ask the question.
Hi, Naz, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just a question for Geoff. Hi, Geoff. I'm a C3, C4 quadriplegic, and I was just looking at your door opener. I want to know when it's fitted, when you close it, does it lock, does it? Or how do they operate that?
Yeah, it does lock. I just leave the door locked constantly, and you can open it by hand from the inside, but I don't personally, or nobody does. We just use the buttons to open it and close it, and it's locked from the outside.
Oh, so it can be put in your chair, and I can open it from your chair, can I? With Bluetooth or something? Or?
Yeah, I've got a little battery powered remote, which I just attach to my wheelchair and run a cord from that to a button on the side of the chair. I just press the button and it opens and closes the door.
Right.
And you can do little things like if you hold the button in for a certain amount of time, a little bell will ring, and that means that the door will open and it'll stay open for 30 seconds and then it will close. So it gives you enough time to press the button and then get out, and then you don't have to worry about stopping and pressing the button again.
Yeah, I operate my chair by chin control. So, but I got infrared through my settings, so I should be able to hook up to that. You can't remember the name of the
Yeah, it's Technical Solutions is the name of the company. They're up in the Dandenongs, their office.
Yep.
Might get you, Dennis, or if you're interested, I might get you in contact with Geoff, so you can talk further about that. But yeah, great question. Thanks for that. Sorry, there was a question come through for you, Georgina. The question was, can you use a SmartDrive as well as what is the free will at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure if you all saw a picture that Sal shared before, the SmartDrive on and the free will. As I mentioned, it takes the casters off the ground. It stops you from tripping over little obstacles. And you can see there's a SmartDrive at the back and the smart wheels at the front, and the casters are off the ground. So very, very handy to have, and I feel very secure with having both pieces of equipment on my chair. Very handy.
Good, Georgina, thanks for that. Just having a look at any other questions coming through. Yeah, just relating to batteries, make sure you got certification or contact the airline beforehand. Someone is really in favour of Bartek, saying they're great, except that they live in hilly areas, and under load they actually spin. But I guess that comes to practice, so you find out the best way to use it. I know some people have said when they lose traction, they actually reverse up a hill. I'm not sure if that's safe or not, but yeah, there's different things you can look at.
And there's also clip snars that you can buy that you can add weight to the front of the wheel. But yeah, depending on the angle or the gradient, there is a certain point where it's going to slip.
Yeah.
Hey Josh, can I ask a question?
You may.
Have you ever used your Baytech and your SmartDrive at the same time?
No, but I think that would be an extreme amount of power. So no, but I particularly like the Baytech because I find it quite easy to detach, to get around, and yeah, for now that's my favorite one, the Baytech.
I just wondered, because of the spinning issue going up a hill, whether the the power assist would assist as such.
Potentially, but then I guess when you're traveling, that's just an extra piece of equipment you've got to take. So I guess it's just whatever personally works for you as the individual. And to what Mark and Naz said, I generally, if there is a big hill, you can either reverse up, so the majority of the weight's going through the wheel, or some of the times I chuck my backpack on the front and then just throw in a couple bowls of water to add some weight to the front.
I think it's a safety thing as well, just risk assessment. If it's quite a steep hill, I actually have a SmartDrive, and I've almost run into trouble going up steep hills because it's just powered out. So if it's safe to go up that hill, whether you need someone supporting you going up there as well. So use your best judgment and just be smart and safe about it.
Yeah, so there's lots of advice around that, and also the batteries as well when you're using power add-ons and transporting that on planes. Lachie, I might share a photo of you. Now, you've got something again that is, it's all around adaptive equipment. So I might share this and you can talk about it. Look, some of you guys might have seen this, some of you might not have, but it's all about options and seeing, what you can do and the devices you can sort of use to help out with that.
Yeah, thanks, Naz. So that's my carbon fiber hand cycle, which the brand is called Carbon Bike. So that's more of a top of the end sort of setup that you get. So that is adapted. So it's as you can see, it's 3 wheels there. It's reverse to a regular bike gearing, as in the back gears are actually at the front and then the pedals are behind, if that sort of makes sense. And basically that's adapted really, really well. Everything's electronic. I'm very lucky to be able to have that set up. So there's not a lot of wires and a lot of risk involved when I get in the hand cycle. I think it's important to notice as well that that's top of the end. There's many different versions of hand cycles that you can get. You can get some at a much, much cheaper options. You can get some with power assist as well. So if you want to get out of your wheelchair, jump into a hand cycle, because I know it can be quite hard work pedaling around. It's important to notice that you can get in set up. You can have power assist getting up and down hills. There's also a lot of because of the amazing technology these days, you can set it up quite well for a lot of quads who don't have good hand function. So when they brake, they actually push to a back pedal. So instead of pedaling forward, they pedal backwards and they can brake. And due to electronic gearing, which can be covered under the NDIS, some people can put the gears right next to their head so they can lean and shift by tilting sideways with their head. So it's really safe in that regard. So you don't have to go and bump it with the elbow and worry about the brake in that regard. And then also, apart from road options, there's a lot of mountain bike options as well and gravel options. So you've got the bowhead these days, which is really, really popular. And that's got power assist as well. That can help you get around out in mountain bike tracks and everything like that. And then, yeah, many, many other options for hand cycling. I encourage you to do research, go have a look around. There's so many good options. So I actually use this about 6 days a week, and that helps keep me nice and fit and healthy. And when I'm not using this, because I live in a hilly area, because I like to ride the bike in the hills, I actually use a SmartDrive to get around, because I choose to use all my energy in the bike and not as much pushing my wheelchair. So I actually use a SmartDrive to get up around the hills to make it a lot easier. That's why I mentioned as well that I live in an area with a lot of steep hills. So I'll be very selective about what hills I choose to go up, because you don't want them, you don't want the SmartDrive stopping as you're going up a steep hill, because that can be quite fatiguing on your shoulders as well. And then furthermore, just to mention, with a lot of hand bike setups and a lot of wheelchair setups and adaptive equipment, you might think you're limited to what a lot of providers suggest out there, but it's worth chatting to an engineer about safe ways to adapt certain situations. Because even though there's a lot of amazing technology with the hand cycle and wheelchairs, you can actually speak to an engineer who might be able to safely adapt something that won't structurally affect it. And you can, comfortably do that and make that as an option as well.
Did you ride that all the way up Mount Buffalo?
Yep. Yeah. So one of my passions as well is riding up a lot of mountains. I've been working hard at it for years, so it is a lot of hard work, but you can do power assist options to help you get up there as well. And I think it's important to mention as well that there's a lot of adaptive exercise equipment as well. So in my spare time, I'm actually a personal trainer, and I literally just went and bought out these TheraBands called PT Fit. They're regular TheraBands that have a handle on them you can use as well, but they actually also have an ankle strap. And I work with a lot of quads doing PT sessions where they can actually use the ankle straps to strap them onto their wrists, and they can do a lot of exercise that way. So that's why I mentioned before, it's important to look outside the box a little bit, because they're much cheaper than a lot of quad grips you can get out there, which can be, one quad grip could cost as much as the whole band setup itself. So it's worth exploring your options, asking around, and seeing what's available.
So just showing off a few different equipment to, if your hand grip isn't very strong,
yep,
there's a lot of options, but there's so many different types of road bikes as well, like you mentioned, even the mountain bikes as well. You can actually get pretty crazy with some of this stuff if you wanted to.
I think, as well, to mention that not all hand bikes have to be a recumbent. You can get upright hand cycles as well. So if you're worried about transferring low to the ground, or you don't feel comfortable riding around low to the ground, you can transfer like that one there, the top end accelerator. You can transfer across there. It makes the transfer easier, a bit more visibility. If you're not looking to go super, super fast, it's quite comfortable as well. Yep, and there's also, for people that can use their feet, there's also a few different options for pedal assist using your feet. So if you have limited strength in your legs, basically you can get some power assist to help you get along as well.
Yeah, as you can see, there's so many different options out there as well. Helen asked a question. I'm not sure if anyone is aware of this, but does anyone know of a tandem bike which a manual wheelchair attaches to, such as a Duet? It's called. Has anyone seen one of those?
A tandem? Not personally. I know you can also get, well, I've just mentioned that you've said that, you can also get attachments to your wheelchair that you can do pedal assist, power assist as well. So, Batek and Stricker are also another company that offer it, so you can pedal with the power assist as well. As a tandem, no, I'm not too sure. If anyone else maybe knows.
No, so there's lots of options as well. I mean, someone Diana asked again, you know, what do you use the lower bikes? Are they faster? So it's just different equipment for different purposes. So they're lots more stable, I guess. Isn't that right, Lachie?
Yeah, I think look, it's up to personal preference at the end of the day. For example, like when I use a SmartDrive, I like to use that because I don't want a big VTEC and I want to go into somewhere and not have to worry about dismantling it. So for me, that's what works. So similar with a lot of recumbent hand cycles. They're in a better position for your shoulders because if you're upright and you don't have good, depending on your injury level, if you're upright and you don't have good balance, you can lean back and forth. So your shoulder's a bit unstable. So there is more of a risk of injury, but you can set it up so it's not necessarily like that as well. Whereas when you're in a recumbent hand cycle, you're more aerodynamic, so it's really good for racing. And then you're in more of a stable position for your shoulders when you push the pedals. So yeah, it's really up to your own personal preference.
Oh, excellent. And we just saw a picture of the Duet, so that looks like a pretty good piece of equipment, which I haven't seen before. Questions are coming through. I might go over to Susana now. Susana, I might get you to talk about, you know, you've done some modifications around your home. You know, we talked about what the process is, you know, for people who want to do that. You know, as mentioned, you know, we've got some OTs at AQA that can help you around that, to come out to your place and just have a look at what modifications or assistive technology you might benefit from, and talk you all through that sort of stuff. So we've got a video of you operating your self-drive van, Susana, and before I do that, I might get you to touch on what the process was for you in having a look at, you know, AT equipment, you know, if you found that difficult or not.
Sure.
Oh,
Do you want me to go ahead?
Oh,
I
look,
thought you were going to show
I think you were waiting
I
for
thought
me
you were
to
going
show
to show the video.
So I'll show the video. So just let people know, because the video is quite short, but it's Susana. She's got a fully automated van that she drives from her chair. It's all remote controlled. I won't say any more. I'll play the video. So I'll share the screen and should be able to see it now. So you might want to say a few words as it's playing.
Oh,
Susana.
yes. So I've got some keys. Then on the keys, I've got buttons that'll open my vehicle in the back. And the ramp will come down. And I drive in with my chair right up inside. And inside there's a docking station where you dock your chair in, and there you see there's the wheelchair, steering wheel and all the adapts. If you were to...
So you got your hand controls and that there set
yes,
up.
and there's my hand controls, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And that's a really good option for people that, you know, may not be aware of it, but you know, there's many different ways of driving. You know, you can transfer into a sedan, hatch, station wagon. You can stay in your chair if you want to drive that way. You don't have to pull your chair apart. There's different ways to stow your wheelchair away if you want. We might talk about that as well, but you can store your chair on the roof of the car or even in the boot. You can get, actually I might throw to Amy and Mark about these options as well. Just about different ways you can stow your chair if you decide to transfer into a driver's seat.
Amy's just recently explored a chair topper.
Yeah, so after you've transferred into the car, it's just a hoist that takes your wheelchair up over the car roof to keep disappearing. And you can get some with covers on top, which look really great. I saw one at Mobility Plus recently. So that's a hoist option.
Yeah. You can either, depending on what your level of function is whether you can load your manual wheelchair into the car, into the passenger seat. I load my lightweight manual wheelchair into the over me, but instead of putting it on the passenger side, I put it in the passenger rear side. There's also devices which can help you load the chair in and out of the boot of a station wagon. So yeah, there's different ways to do it, whether it be a roof hoist, something that comes out of the boot or trunk, and then whether you drive in from the side of a van or the rear of a van. Yeah, there's options out there.
Just on that, Naz, that video, where can we watch that? It's just at a AQA community YouTube channel that we saw that?
You must be able to read my mind, Josh, because I was actually going to say we've got a YouTube channel where this webinar will actually go onto, along with a library of all our other webinars. So on there, we've got a whole bunch of videos of people's vehicles, I guess. Susana's one is on there, and plus some of the options Mark and Amy were talking about, where you can stay your chair. So check it out. Just go onto YouTube and search for AQA Community. That's also the same name of our Instagram account and our Facebook account as well.
And I think I cut off Amy, Naz. Maybe we throw back to her for a couple of seconds.
I was just going to say, the other day I saw a power wheelchair trailer, which was quite small, so it doesn't impact the car size very much. And they were on 2 caster wheels, so you can't jackknife the trailer when you're reversing or, trying to navigate tight spaces. So that's for a powered wheelchair. And it's like a lift that comes down and then back up and secures it. And yeah, that's another great option for powered wheelchairs.
Yeah, incredible. You know, there's so much stuff that's out there that we probably don't know about, because we're making the most of what we've got. But yeah, I mean, I encourage people to get in touch. We'll read our magazine, AQA Newslink. A lot of new stuff, what people are using is in there, or come and have a coffee with us at AQA, and we can talk about that sort of stuff. So yeah, don't hold yourself back, everyone. We've only got a few minutes to go. I'm not sure how we want to do this, Sal. I know you've got that presentation. Maybe does anyone want to add anything that we haven't covered so far? I just conscious of time and just don't want to end it without talking about stuff that we missed out on.
Yeah, if I may, Naz, I just might make it known to the community with the assistive technology. While there's NDIS and TAC, I've also made use of JobAccess. So the way they helped me, they gave, I guess, co-funded, where they sent their OT, did the assessment, and I got a height adjustable desk put out at home. So that was I guess, during COVID, and also manage my SCI. I could operate both at home and at the office. So I'm sure there's many other reasons that people may be able to use that technology, that assistance from JobAccess. I know you had something similar, Naz, with JobAccess.
Regarding JobAccess?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're fantastic. If anyone is looking at returning to work, no matter what it is, they're great. You contact them and they get onto it straight away. So they can fund anything that's going to make you return to work. I've got a few equipment like my laptop at home, drive, and what else? Got the hoist here at AQA as well, which we talked about before, where you can operate it on your own. If anyone is looking at returning to employment and think the facilities aren't accessible, please get in touch. Because a lot of options out there. JobAccess, they can do modifications to make the bathroom accessible, make the premises accessible. So yeah, again, don't hold yourself back. If you've got any questions at all about anything, get in contact with us, and yeah, we can put you on the right track. One thing we haven't talked about is adaptive clothing. I'm not sure if anyone has experience around that. If not, I just want to make sure we let people know that there's clothing out there that you can wear that you've been pushing away from because it's just too hard to wear, like jeans and shirts and suits. Pretty much anything is adaptive and easy to wear these days. Has anyone looked into any of that?
Look, I think there's a place, I'm not 100% certain what their name, I think it's,
I want to share, yeah.
It might be called Adaptive Clothing.
I want to share my screen. There's a couple of places, and people take note of this because some great stuff. I mean, when we talk about shirts, a lot of quads you can't do your buttons up, for example. They've got buttons that are actually magnetic. They've got jeans that are look like ordinary jeans. There's few fashion outlets as well. Just can't come to me at the moment that do all the fashion stuff. I mean, I'm talking about.
Is that called Every Human?
Yeah. So I'm sharing these couple of organisations here. So check it out, guys. Both of these are in Australia, but there's ones overseas as well. Have a look at what options there are out there, because you could look as good as me. So that was a little bit of a joke, but wearing shirts, jeans, pleats, suits, everything is possible and easy to wear. So Every Human over there we've got, and Caring Clothing. And I'm sure there's more out there as well that we haven't mentioned. So take note of that and have a look, everyone.
Naz, I've got shoes as well.
There's shoes as well. That's right. Yeah, thanks, Susana. Sorry, Sal?
Yeah, I've just got the Every Human website up. If you want, I can share my screen and people can have a quick look.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look because we've got a few more minutes. But guys out there, if you've got any questions, please type them away, put your hand up, and we'll bring you on so you can speak your question as well. If you don't get time or you've got questions that you thought you should have asked, give us a call, send us an email. We're always available to answer your questions.
Mark and Amy, if I want to go about getting a lot of this funded to the NDIS or even the TAC or even elsewise, what should I do?
Well, if it's under $1,500, this is going to test my knowledge. You should be able to get some low-cost assistive technology without any documentation if it's reasonable and necessary.
And that's for NDIS.
Oh, yes, sorry, for NDIS. Anything over that amount, we have to do a plan variation for your NDIS plan and ask for some more funding for that piece of assistive tech. TAC.
Oh, actually, let's stay there for a moment, because I guess it's also in with the plan variation. If it's like up to under 15,000, and you have the budget in your NDIS plan, we can write a letter of support. But over that, then we'll need to do an assistive technology report, which is significantly, it's just a significant document more than a letter of support. In terms of TAC, if it's under 1,000 and you can speak to your support coordinator about how to go about it, and they're usually quite, similar to NDIS. If it's under $1,000, then it's pretty, the process is quite seamless to go through. But then if it's over that, then you need more support from OT in terms of a letter or an assistive technology report of some kind.
And to give you an example, I did a hand cycle not long ago, and that report was over 20 pages long. So it involves a lot of trialing things assessing your environment and your goals and painting a picture of how that tech is going to be used safely.
Excellent. Got a couple of people putting their hands up. I might bring them in. Got Melanie and Gary. I might get Melanie. I think you want to ask a question. Oh, she's gone, I think, just as I was trying to get her on. Got Gary. I might get Gary.
Gary, you're on mute, Gary.
Yep.
Yeah, got a quick question for us, Gary?
Yeah, just a quick one, mate, I hope.
Yep.
All the power adapters for the chairs, there was one, I've only seen one, but it seems to get around the problem of rear wheel drive, loss of traction, front wheel drive. It's one that drops down and attaches to your wheelchair and detaches. It's like a dynamo drive. It locks onto the top of your rear wheels and it works by a joystick, and it just looks like the perfect solution to me, but what would I know?
No, you're right. I think Sal shared some photos before. I'm not sure if that was one of the ones that we did see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a look at that quickly. Yeah, no, thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, there's lots of options, you know.
Thanks, mate.
Managing our shoulders are super important. And when we do this, I'm going to get Melanie to ask her question.
So while Melanie's coming up, this is the an example of what Gary was talking about. It's not quite the same, but this wraps around your manual chair and it turns it like into a power chair. There's another version where you've got rollers that actually roll on the wheels, the back wheels of the chair. And just in terms of other solutions, there's also the Caterpillar tracks here that you can drive your chair onto if you want to get really fancy.
Yeah, thanks for that. Melanie, I'm just going to bring you up. So if you're there, Melanie, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit overwhelmed and can't really remember what I was going to ask now.
Jump onto our YouTube channel and give us a call, Melanie.
Okay. Thank you.
No, but I'm not saying don't ask now. So if it comes to you, please go ahead and ask.
No, I really can't. I really can't think. I don't know. I've just got so much information.
Oh, it's overwhelming, isn't it? You know, if this is new to you. But look, put your hand up again if it comes to you, or even later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Make a note of it and ask us. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone else has got a question to ask or any questions coming through.
I've got a question, Naz. You know, this is awesome, this online webinar, but I remember previously before COVID, you used to have these in person. Is there any chance of maybe that happening again?
Oh, Josh, yeah, again, yeah, thanks for that, because I was going to forget to mention that. So this is called What's Out There webinar. So thank you to Royal Talbot, Sal and his team, to helping put this together. But we have a face-to-face one at the Royal Talbot itself. A lot of people may remember them. If you don't, you should have seen something go around in email a couple of weeks ago. But on the 29th of November, we're going to have a What's Out There day at the Royal Talbot. If you're not aware of it, please go to AQA's website, aqa.org.au, and on the events page, there's all the details that you need on there. And that's pretty much a day from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, where we have a panel with people with lived experience, just talk about their lives and what they found beneficial, you know, being independent and returning to the community. And we've got a barbecue lunch as well. Lachie over here, you can see Lachie is actually our qualified chef. So I I haven't had any of his food yet, but I'm looking forward to having some of his barbecue on that day. So he's going to team up with some of the staff at the Royal Talbot and prepare lunch for us. And we've got a Trams Wheelchair Skills Day, Josh, coming up.
Yes. So that's a public transport day where we in Preston, where we have access to a private tram, Naz, and gives us a space to get familiar, get to understand it. We throw off a lunch as well, and we do a bit of a push around the community. So another great way to get a bit of exposure, especially if you haven't had that much experience.
And Josh, will there be a chance to try trains and buses as well?
I'd throw that one to Naz. I'm not sure at this stage, but I'm sure we'll be planning something in the future.
Not at the moment, but definitely, Sal, we're going to be looking at that. We're calling this one Wheelchair Skills in the Community 101 with trams. And the other one is going to be a bigger day where we're going to use trains. And buses are a little bit harder because you can't get too many too many wheelchairs on a bus. But we're looking at that in the new year. I reckon we've got another couple of minutes. If people want to hang around, I'm going to stop the recording. But if people want to hang around and ask any further questions, yeah, please go ahead.
You want me to do a quick whiz through some of the other images?
Yeah, look, yeah, that'll be great, Sal, because it'll be interesting to for people to see, even though they might not know what it is.
Yeah.
They can have a look and ask us questions about what is there.
Naz, how do you drive?
So not very well. No, just joking. I drive a wagon that's got hand controls, and I transfer into the driver's seat, and I figured out a way of pulling my chair apart and stowing it into the car. Again, lots of people do it different ways, and I guess there's different options. You know, I mean, that's me today, but in 5 years' time, I can see myself getting a self-drive van.
And it's just on that, you know, while assistive technology can be expensive, you made a pretty cool adaptation of hard foam and a plastic bag. Do you mind speaking to that quickly?
Again, you know, I mean, I've had shoulder issues over the years, so again, I'm a C6 quad. I used to be able to lift myself onto the driver's seat without any slide boards or anything. But as my shoulders are wearing out, I've made a bit of foam that I call a gap filler, I guess. So when I position my wheelchair near the driver's seat, the space or the hole that's in between there, and I fill it up with a cut piece of foam, and it works really well. I can show people if they're interested, but works the same way as a slide board would, but it's a lot easier for me at the moment. So we're clever people, you know, when we want to be, Josh. So here's some equipment too, you know, for people that haven't got good hand function, to do some gardening, cutting, you know, preparing your own meals. There's
the famous Naz rubber band.
Yeah, that looks like a sexy hand there, Sal. I've got to say that is mine, and I'm pretty cheap when it comes to adaptations. I invent my own, so what that picture showed is pretty much how I type. I haven't got finger movement, but I tuck away my 3 fingers, as you can see there, with an elastic band. So I've got my pointer finger that sticks out. And yeah, it works like a treat. I sell them for $9.99. buy one, get one free, if people are interested.
As we're coming into summer, remember there are beach chairs around, and ways that people can get down to the water's edge using beach mats. Altona Beach Club, Surf Lifesaving or Lifesaving Club and St Kilda have those beach mats. These are just a few different beach chairs that people can use. What else did we talk about today? We talked, there's the freewheel again that Georgina mentioned, and just wanted to also mention that you can also change the wheels on your chair. I think I saw a question somebody was asking, you know, what's the best for going on rough terrain, and sometimes it could be something like the freewheel and just putting some knobby tires or thicker tires on your manual chair will just give you the extra mobility over rougher terrain. I'm just jumping all over the place. Helen Johnson was talking about the duet mobility, which we looked at. Helen, you might want to try and look at this contraption here from Bright. They're kind of manufacturing them. They're like a rickshaw, so a person in the wheelchair can come into this front area, and then they have a person sitting on the back, and it looks like it's got power assist. I did notice on their website that they have used the Bright rickshaw at right around the bay, so might be just worth having a bit of a look at that if you're interested in exploring that. What else? Look, there's some nutty things like billiard cues that can be adapted for people who want to play billiards. Art, Geoff was talking about art. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can hold your brushes. I think Geoff had a very low tech, some tubing around the end of the handle of the brush, but there's other things like these wrist patches. No, what are they called? Anyway, wrist splints that you can slide the paintbrush into. What else do we? Video games we didn't talk much about, but people have done some pretty amazing things adapting video game controllers. Fishing is always fairly popular, and there's different ways that you can adapt. There's a thing called a fishing harness. Some people are now using drones to cast their rods. There's a thing called a strong arm, which helps with fishing as well.
Oh, there's so much, isn't there? There's so many things that can make life better.
Things like push button taps for gardens, raised garden beds, all sorts of different things if you're into gardening, and adapted gardening tools. What else have we got here? Some sports like table tennis, swimming. I think we've spoken about in the past that there's some really handy little sort of bits of clothing or tech that can help you float better.
I could just add quickly on the swimming note that I use those as well, lava pants. So they're just basically wetsuit pants, so they make your legs buoyant. You can get some leg splints to help keep your legs straight if you want to go swimming, and it makes it so much more easier and less drag, so you can swim a lot easier.
Yep. People into archery, there's an archery stand that will hold the bow, and then there's all these little adaptive gadgets that you can use to help you fire it off. Bowls, certainly it can be adapted from the chair, but you also have these things called a bowling arm. People into horse riding, there's little adaptations. This person's using a strap to help them. I think the saddle's been modified, it's not very clear. The modified saddles can happen as well, and mounting a hoist on the side of the horse float to help you get on and off the horse. Adaptive sports. I haven't talked much about the sports, but they usually get a good run.
They can see a lot of this stuff at the What's Out There day at the Royal Talbot House. So make sure you come down, everyone, and have a look at and practice. Touch all of this equipment. So that's on the 29th of November. Again, if you're not sure, go to AQA's website and there's an events page there. You can sort of see what's coming up, including the Community Wheelchair Skills Day with Yarra Trams. Might end it there, Sal. Just if we go around and just give like a tip or trick from everyone, we could go on for hours. This is really a great subject that people are interested in. Might go around quickly, as I said, with a tip and trick, and we'll end it there. Start with again, Mark, Amy, if you've got a tip or trick to finish off with.
Tips and tricks. I guess what would tips and tricks with assistive technology is is that to be mindful of assessment and trials. There's a reason why we do them, and we want to be able to get to the right solution, so that you don't need to chop and change. And I guess that's the one thing to bear in mind. Assessments and trials, and to have fun participating in them.
Exactly. No, thanks very much, Mark. Susana, quick trick from you or advice?
My advice would be, whatever way you're going to look at with any assisting, whether it's the kitchen, bathroom, outdoors, independently, or vehicle, is getting a good occupational therapist, and they're always a good hand in helping.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Susana. Georgina?
Thank you, Naz. Yes, what I would say is that as the years go on, your needs may change, your body changes, and so there's always another piece of assistive or adaptive technology that will be better suited to you. I'm talking about injury to shoulders or neck and back pain, those sorts of things you need to consider earlier rather than later. And again, like Susana said, speak to your OT, your funding body to get things started, because some of these things can take some time.
Exactly. Thank you, Georgina. Geoff, over to you.
I don't know, just keep, if you've got a problem, search out a solution. I've seen a lot of things on this thing that I didn't realize, so I'm gonna have to start searching out some of the things that I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Lachie, over to you.
Yeah, I guess the tip is do research. This is just a surface of what's available. We've suggested some products that work for us, but there's a lot of other ones out there. Get in them, have a go, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, have a go as long as it's safe. Reach out to your OTs, go for a bit of a trial. I guess the trick I'd say is, if you're not sure how to use something or you don't know about it, ask around to someone that's already used it, or watch how they get into it, or whatever it may be. It's the best way to problem solve it.
Thank you, Lachie. Josh?
Yeah, Naz, I think the key takeaway of it, we don't know what we don't know. So be sure to reach out to those with lived experience, and you can talk through different things, and then obviously you can take that to your OT and work through whatever is going to work best for you. Thanks, Naz.
Thank you, Josh. Mine, I'm going to read someone else's suggestion here that made it in the comments. So we're talking about voice dictation. So apparently, if you've got a Windows system, you can hold down the Windows button on your keyboard and the H and dictate instead of type. So give that a go, everyone. I didn't know that either. Look, I just want to thank everyone for coming on board as a panelist today. Mark, Amy, thank you very much. Susana, Georgina, Geoff, Lachie, and Josh and Sal, thank you. And I know there's a lot of people at the Royal Talbot at the moment watching us as well. They're watching us on the big screen. So hope you enjoyed that, everyone. And see you next time. See you at the live face-to-face What's Out There day.
29.
See you later.